What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and I'm here in Frogtown. Well, technically it's Elysian Valley, but people that know call it Frogtown. So I wanted to know the history of this secluded, rather tiny Los Angeles community, and why exactly is it known as Frogtown? Let's get into it. Elysian Valley is the actual name of what is known as Frogtown. And despite its central location and close proximity to other neighborhoods, it's actually one of the most isolated communities in Los Angeles. It's geographically small, less than 1 square mile, and it's bordered by LA River on the north and the east, the 5 on the south and the west, and the 2 on the northwest. It's that sense of isolation plus the fact that Frogtown is notoriously mixed zone that give it its charm. You'll have restaurants right next to warehouses across the street from residential single-family homes. But what about the frogs? Why is it called Frogtown? The name comes from the frogs that emerged from the grassy banks of the LA River on a foggy morning, May 29th, 1954. Frogs came up from the river by the thousands, sending them across streets, sidewalks, and even into people's homes. Locals had stories about finding frogs everywhere on the ground, on their car windshields, outside their doorsteps. And for the next couple decades, whenever it rained, these frogs, which were actually toads, sensed the difference in the moisture in the air, and they came out of their burrows. They burrowed underground, and they made their way to the river to start breeding. The name Frogtown stuck by the time they figured out that these are actually called young western toads, and some of them are as small as a pencil eraser. Wow. It's thought that after the Great Flood of 1938 and the fact that the Army Corps of Engineers turned it into a concrete flood channel, the isolation of the area plus the topography turned this little channel into a great breeding ground for these toads. There's no record of frogs or toads in Elysian Valley in the 1800s or early 1900s when most of the land was simply farms. The farmers of the area carted their produce to sell in the markets of downtown Los Angeles when it was actually called Gopher Flats and became a home for railroad workers as well. In 1910, the land was annexed into the city of Los Angeles, and by 1913, it began being subdivided for residential development. As it grew and developed, they wanted to drill for oil in the area, but the residents successfully fought against large-scale drilling. And that protectivism has been a legacy of Frogtown, as perhaps due to the isolation, creativity is at a premium, and artists such as Michael Todd have ushered in the fantastic art community of Frogtown. Continuing that tradition is the Frogtown Art Walk, as well as the Elysian Valley Arts Collective. Now, gentrification has been a huge issue for Frogtown, especially with the river revitalization project, but many residents continue to fight against the, quote, inexorable change that would happen. Another inexorable change is that the frogs are gone. Well, at least the toads are, as they've been replaced by American bullfrogs. Frog Leg Farms, which was a huge business in Los Angeles in the 30s and 40s, once raised American bullfrogs. But when they closed up shop, they released their inventory. And those frogs naturally gravitated towards the LA River. Turns out that the American bullfrog is an invasive species. And one of the things that they like to dine on, is western young toads. So even though there aren't many frogs left in Frogtown, it was named after frogs, well, toads. And it is an interesting community with an interesting and rich past. All right, LA, it's been a minute.